For 13 days in October 1962, the world stood on the edge of nuclear war. Not metaphorically, literally. And most people had no idea how close we actually came. This wasn't a movie. This wasn't theory. This was real. Let's rewind. The Cold War was already tense. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a global power struggle. Then, on October 14th, 1962, an American U-2 spy plane flying over Cuba captured photographs that changed everything. The Soviet Union was secretly building nuclear missile sites in Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida, missiles capable of hitting major U.S. cities within minutes. When President John F. Kennedy was shown the images, he faced a terrifying decision. If the U.S. attacked Cuba, it could trigger nuclear retaliation from the Soviet Union. If the U.S. did nothing, nuclear missiles would remain pointed at America. So what did they do? They chose a naval quarantine. Not a blockade, because a blockade is technically an act of war. U.S. Navy ships surrounded Cuba, ready to intercept Soviet vessels carrying additional missile parts. Now imagine this. Two superpowers, armed with thousands of nuclear weapons, ships moving toward each other. Finger on the trigger. One miscommunication, one mistake, one nervous officer, and millions could die. But here's the part most people don't know. At one point during the crisis, a Soviet submarine near Cuba was being harassed by U.S. Navy depth charges. The submarine lost contact with Moscow. The captain believed war may have already started. He had a nuclear torpedo on board. To launch it, 3 officers had to agree. 2 said yes, 1 said no. His name was Vasily Arkhipov. He refused to authorize the launch. That single decision may have prevented nuclear war. Let that sink in. The fate of the world, balanced on one man's choice. Meanwhile, back in Washington, secret negotiations were happening. Publicly, the U.S. demanded the removal of missiles from Cuba. Privately, they agreed to remove U.S. missiles from Turkey. It was a quiet compromise, but it worked. On October 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to dismantle the Cuban missile sites. The world stepped back from the brink. But here's what makes this story powerful. For 13 days, humanity faced extinction. Not in theory, in reality. And most of the public didn't fully understand how close it was until decades later. Today, nuclear weapons still exist. The tension may look different, but the lesson remains. History can hinge on a single decision. And sometimes, the person who saves the world is someone you've never heard of. Let me know in the comments. Do you think something like this could happen again? Or have we learned from history?